Alright, so here we are for another day. Let's see, so the last time we played, we got all of our magic armor, our ranged armor, and our melee armor, which are all sitting in the bank. So we have all of our cool stuff. And what it told us to do the last time was to go to Lumbridge, and that there was a boat to go there, which is much different. So let's check that out. I also have a couple of goals. So I was watching some videos in my time off, and in doing so I've learned about a lot of different activities and things that there is to do in this game. And I know about the wilderness events, I know about the different things like the player-owned farm, things that I should be doing. I also know some knowledge from old school, and that is to, you know, do waterfall quest, do witch's house, do all of those things to try and get some early levels. I also know about the archaeology and that I should be doing that soon. So we are going to do some of that, but I'm also going to be playing it as if I am a brand new player. So some of this stuff I might do, but it just might be a little bit slow. So there's not really any huge rush to do any of that, but it will definitely be something on the list. I was also looking up here, so to Lumbridge, for prayer, and for agility, I definitely want to start agility because in the magic, actually in all of the spell books from what I noticed, there is this ability called Surge. So you instantly teleport forward 10 tiles in a line straight ahead. It costs nothing with a 20-second cooldown. It's pretty good. There is also a ranged one, I believe, but that one causes you to jump backwards. And there is also the melee one, which you charge into somebody. So from what I understand, it is considered that the Surge is the best one because you just kind of teleport. You don't need a target or anything. There's also one in the strength, I believe, that's called Dive, and I've heard that Dive is very good because it's also another one that lets you move but is not tied to Surge. So I believe you can use each one of them individually from each other, but you have to do a quest to get Dive, from what I understand. So these are things that we're going to be working towards, but I'm looking forward to playing some more because it has been a couple of days since I have played the last time. So let's get into training some of our skills. The first thing that I need to do is, I'm assuming that little running man is 5 agility, and we are at 1 agility. Yep, so the icons match. So let's click on this one, an introduction to the agility skill. Let's get some agility levels. Lapping it up, walk the log beam to start the lap of the Birthrup agility course. So this is different already. There is not an agility course here for old school. So we set out to level up to 5 agility, and the agility skill, what it does is you have run energy in Runescape that determines how long that your character can run or sprint, and the agility skill helps that run energy regenerate faster. The way that you train the agility skill is you basically run laps on an obstacle course and get your stamina up. Well, there we go, we got to agility level 5, and that really didn't take too long. I mean, I only did 3 or 4 laps, so pretty easy stuff. I am curious, I saw this guy stretching with the symbol over his head. I am curious, I kind of want to talk to him. I love the voice acting. After we trained agility, we also learned about the prayer skill, which is a way to give yourself temporary buffs during combat mostly. using different types of prayers, and then once we finished that, we moved on to the hunter skill. Also just got a notice that there is going to be a wilderness flash event for a large rock in the wilderness that will land near the Chaos Temple. Now, from what I understand in the videos that I've seen, these are really, really good. Like, really, 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 really crazy good. We also caught a bird. So, maybe I could go do one just to see what it is like. It could put us super far ahead, so maybe I'll wait, but I am curious. We can also check our levels, so we can go play Gnome Ball. We can use this. Okay, there it is. So the combat ability Dive requires the quest Secession, but I've also unlocked Surge and Escape. So we're going to put Surge on our bars so that we can use that to get around faster, and we can go to our quest list and see that Dive skill and see what we need to do that quest. So let's put Surge on our bar. Alright, so here is the map. So in episode 1, we basically stayed in this tiny little area right here. And if I zoom out, you can see this world is pretty big. It's very big. And this is only the world that you can actually see. There's another island over here that they added. There is actually significantly more because there's areas that are underground. There's different places that you can teleport to. So even though this looks overwhelming, it's actually even more than that. So the Chaos Temple, I believe, is right here. And this red mark must mean the thing that's about to happen. So I'm going to have to run really far away to get that way, but it might be worth it. So let's see if we can go ahead and run over that way. I've also seen about these things, so I'm running towards the wilderness right now, and I've seen that this rock sculpture is actually something that you can do once a week or once a month, I believe, and it gives tons of experience in prayer or Slayer if you do it incorrectly, or even construction. And construction in old school is very, very important, but in regular RuneScape, I don't know if it's as important. Man, all of this is so new to me, and I feel like I'm in familiar territory, but I've gotten myself lost. Don't exactly know where I am. Little surge ability is actually quite nice. I've also seen this Guthixian cache. So Guthix is one of the gods in the RuneScape lore. And I've heard these caches are quite good, and that is something that I will get to eventually. I'm not super worried. We also have this lodestone. I almost forgot about these. So these are free teleport locations to different areas in the world. We only have one right now, which is the Birthright, but let's go ahead and activate this one. Now we can teleport to the wilderness, which normally would be a bad thing, but for now, it's not too bad anymore. Alright, so this is like a mining minigame. I wonder if I'm going to get anything for this. So the event was completed, but I did not contribute anything. Holy cow, what is going on here? Ooh. Ooh. I think I'm gonna die. I'm dead. Alright, so we had our first death, and I have no idea where I am. Oh, I'm in Edgeville. Activate the Edgeville lodestone so we can teleport back here in the future. Hey, so future me here. You might notice that from this point on, the audio is going to get pretty bad. And that's because in previous videos, you might have noticed that when I was speaking, there was a little bit of a crackling or a buzzing noise, and I noticed it too. I didn't like it very much, and so I tried to fix it by adding a noise gate onto my video. The problem is that the noise gate was so strong, it started cutting me out too. So, I'm sorry in advance. In the next couple of videos, it will be fixed, but for right now, I'm really sorry. It gets fixed in the future, I promise. Alright, so I had to stop. So this is the next day, and there is a little bit of changes. From what I understand, they re-added the daily missions. And oh, looks like there's going to be a lot going on. So in looking for the daily quests, I ended up just stumbling across the hero pass, and so I decided to look through there and all of the different cosmetics that you unlock, and unfortunately the cosmetics that you have to end up paying for. But also I found the tab for the regular cosmetics, so I found out that I could change my haircut at any time. So of course I went with my favorite, the monk haircut. Then I found the regular cosmetics tab, such as the Ironman outfit override, the necromancer unlock override that I had just gotten from the hero pass. And then I started looking at the distractions and diversions in Edgeville, because I wanted to find the evil tree, but I knew that they had added a lot more. So I found out about the warbands and the other ones that were in Edgeville, but there are many more for me to find. Oops. I meant to do that, search a distance of one tile. Fish flingers competition? Tell me about the fish. Would you like me to tell you? What is the competition about? Chance to show how well you catch fish by choosing the... I feel like I vaguely remember this one. It was like the fishing version of Evil Trees. I wonder if Evil Trees are still in the game. What is this? Oh, it was a list of all my drops. Can I close the music player? In trying to figure out if I could close the music player, I remembered that I could change the setup of my heads-up display, or my HUD. And in doing that started a 30-minute ordeal of me trying to figure out how to get it to save correctly. So I sped up the process that you could see me struggling with it, but it ended up taking a very long time because I just couldn't get it the way that I wanted it, and when I finally did and I tried to save it, it would just erase everything I did and make me do it all over again. An extremely frustrating process. Alright, so 30 minutes later, we have the HUD kind of the way that I want it, I think, for now. That was very difficult because I kept resetting it over and over, so that was pretty frustrating to me. So what should our first goal be? I think that yes, we could continue working on this, so let's do trade with Head Farmer Jones and get some free farming. We then teleported back to Birthrup to start one of my favorite skills, farming, and then right after we finished planting our first batch of potatoes, we started working on the herblore skill, which is the art of making potions to boost your stats. Interesting that you don't need to do the herblore quest anymore. You kind of just do that and say, okay, cool, well, you know how to do herblore now. Alright, intro to summoning. Summoning is super important. So summoning is basically a way to summon additional help, because most of the time, for the most part in the game, I will be by myself, but summoning will allow me to summon extra animals and helpers and different, magical things to give me a little bit of extra help, whether it be more inventory space, extra damage, maybe does some poison, that kind of thing. It's super cool. So now, do Dungeoneering. So Dungeoneering was one of my favorite skills. And it's more of like a not necromancy. More of like a mini game than anything. Where the idea is that you're traveling down floors that are randomly generated, and they require you to use combat. You can use skills, and you are just trying your best to get as far down into the dungeon. So let's see. Once we got to Damonheim, we found an NPC who talked about sinkholes, which I believe are dungeons across the world. Then there's this guy, and this cape that I always wanted. Always wanted this one. Never quite got it. And then we also looked at the reward shop for Dungeoneering, with a lot of the items looking very familiar that I got way back in the day. We also went to the entrance of the dungeon and grabbed ourselves a ring of kinship, which is needed for just about everything in Dungeoneering. And then we spent about 10 minutes trying to remember how to make a group, because the guide told me that I needed to talk to the NPC, but it turns out that in reality you don't have to talk to him. Instead, you just use the ring of kinship that he gave me. You make a group with yourself, and that's how you get started. I guess I can't make a party. Oh. Oh. Why doesn't it tell me to do that? Combat only. You have just entered a dungeon. You are in the starting room. Smuggler to trade with. Okay, so this should be combat only. How exciting. I'm so excited to do Dungeoneering. And like I was saying before, Dungeoneering and the dungeons that you get to do are almost like a roguelike, where all of them are randomly generated, and the items that you get, you don't get to keep, but you get to make new ones almost every time. Let's see. So now, we're going to have a breakthrough moment here. Can you wear this melee armor, put the battle axe in one hand, and this magic in the other hand, and then use magic spells? Got the 4 defense? How did I do that? Alright, so we have the melee in one hand, and the magic in the other. Can you use abilities? I think the answer is no. Ah, yes. Boss, I remember. I remember her. Oh my gosh, she froze me. Protecting from melee. Ooh, I was supposed to dodge that. Again, she just caught me. That's not. You're not the boss. You're not the boss. And I ended up having so much fun with the first dungeon that I just immediately started the next one, which turned out to be pretty good because I was able to spend more time learning and using the abilities, especially the melee ones. And then we ended up fighting the same boss a second time in a row, but this time it went a bit more smoothly because we were a bit higher level and we had a better grasp on the abilities, so that definitely helped a ton. Whenever we finished the dungeon, we got to about 7 Dungeoneering, and then we returned back to Towerley to harvest our wonderful little potato patch. Alright, so we learned all of the beginner skills. We did Dungeoneering, a little bit of herblore, a little bit of the other things. Now I think I'm going to go to lumbering. But first we gotta activate Cavalry Lodestone. Alright, so we got our fresh new haircut. By that I mean we removed all of our hair. We'll see if we can change our clothing the next time. And in the next video, we will explore Lumbridge and get started on doing some quests.